All right, so let's say we want to find the equation of a line given information about a perpendicular line. Whenever I encounter a scenario like this, where I know information about one line and another line, I try to really clearly separate information about my line, whose equation I want, and information about the other line. This perpendicular line does have useful information for us, but it's not our line, and we need to make sure we only take the information we want. Alright, so I've set up what information goes with my line and what information goes with the perpendicular line. And I know, whenever I'm finding the equation of a line, that I need to start by finding that line's slope. Well, that's what the perpendicular line is good for. We know that if we can figure out the slope of a perpendicular line, we know our line slope. This perpendicular line currently has its equation in standard form, which means that we don't really know its slope just yet. I'm going to isolate y, so I'll know the perpendicular line slope. I will subtract 3x from both sides to get 4y equals negative 3x plus 24. I will then divide every single piece of the equation by 4. That tells me that the perpendicular line has the equation y equals negative 3/4 of x plus 6. Alright, so the reason that's interesting is that we happen to know a pattern when it comes to perpendicular lines. One always has a positive slope, one always has a negative slope. And their numerators and denominators are reversed. So, if the perpendicular line has a slope that's equal to negative 3/4, any perpendicular line will have a slope that is the opposite reciprocal of that. We need to switch everything. This slope was negative, so our slope is going to be positive. This slope had 3 on the top and 4 on the bottom. Our slope is going to flip that. Because the perpendicular line had a slope of negative 3/4, I know that our line has a slope that is equal to positive 4/3. What's great about knowing the equation of a perpendicular line is you can steal information about its slope. But that's all we want. I am not interested in this line's y-intercept. I'm done with the perpendicular line. Now I can really just focus in on my line, whose equation I want. Alright, so I know that the equation of a line can always be written as y equals mx plus b, so I'm going to get started here. I have the equation y equals 4/3 of x plus my unknown y-intercept. In general, if we're finding the equation of a line, we get that line's slope, and then we plug in a point for x and y to figure out the y-intercept. In this case, we know that our line goes through the point x is 6, y is 7. So I replace y with 7 and x with 6. A little bit of algebra is going to allow us to figure out what our y-intercept is. Alright, so we'll just do a quick cross-cancel here. 6 on the top, 3 on the bottom is as good as 2 on the top. I've got the statement 7 equals 8 plus b. Subtract 8 from both sides, I learned my y-intercept has got to be negative 1. And with that, I have all the information I need to write the equation of this line. I knew about a perpendicular line, I found its slope, and I stole information about it. I said I need to make this slope positive and flip the numerator to denominator. That told me my line had a slope of 4/3, and with a little plugging in algebra, I found the y-intercept as well. My line has an equation of y equals 4/3 of x minus 1. And we're done.